Mark Ash with the Wednesday night podcast, and I believe I have my co-host, J.R. Jackson, on the phone. J.R., how are you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there. A little bit under the weather tonight, but I'm hanging in there, bud.
All right. Of course, you're well aware, and anybody that's tuning in, we have Ivan Koloff on deck for tonight. We're going to discuss a few things with Ivan. He's got a new DVD he wants to promote. Of course, we're going to talk about Ivan's book, Is That Wrestling Fake?
Yes,
we're going to touch base
very
with
good
him,
book, by the way.
And we're going to talk to him, we're going to about the WWE Hall of Fame and his thoughts on that. And I spoke with Ivan a little bit earlier, and we're going to address the thing with the royalties that Bobby Fulton has got stirred up right now a little bit as well.
Oh, okay. Sounds like it should be a good show.
Should be a good show, and if we're also planning to get the Beast, James Beasley, on sometime during our second hour, so he's on standby as well.
I remember him from doing a few shows with him myself.
Yeah, cause he's worked various gimmicks. I think he was doing Nightbreed in my promotion when you were around him.
Yeah, he was. He was doing Nightbreed when I was down there working for you in your promotion in ICW. So, yeah, I had Ivan. He told me there's a couple DVDs that he's got. Somebody's got a 20-match compilation that they're putting out. It's not by WWE, but it's by somebody else that they're putting out, and that he's wanting to talk about too. So, I mean, should be interesting. And I was going to ask you, Mark, since I got you here, did you happen to hear his podcast with Stone Cold?
I did not. I missed that.
Oh, okay. Well, Stone Cold put Ivan over like he should be, because he is Uncle Ivan. You know what I mean? But it was just pretty cool to, I did not know that Stone Cold was such a big fan of uncles like he is, but he's a huge fan of his.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, who's not been exposed to Ivan Koloff over the years? I mean, like him or hate him.
I mean, I can remember going to the Norfolk Scope as a kid, growing up, and sitting there in my sitting up in the rafters and in my chair and screaming and yelling and telling him how much I hate him. I hope he, I hope he died, and I hope that whoever, Magnum would beat him or whatever. And here it is years later, and I got the referee a chain match of his. I've got the referee for him quite a few times, and I mean, he's an awesome individual and a great guy all the way around.
Absolutely. But like I said, love him or hate him, I mean, Ivan has been everywhere. He's done everything. He was the second WWE champion, if I got my numbers correct.
Yeah, you are. You're absolutely correct. The WWF champion.
Absolutely. I'm going to try to go ahead and call Uncle Ivan with our web face here. I have given Ivan a specific call-in time if he has not heard from me in case we have some bugs to work out here. But let me go ahead and see if I can't get him on the phone.
Okay.
And I can't do it. He's going to have to call in at 9:15.
He's going to have to call in at 9:15. So just listen to me and you babble on here for the next 10 minutes, right?
Absolutely is what it definitely looks like. Actually, hold on. It says it's dialing. We're going to see. It looks like we may have to wait for him to call.
Yeah. If he doesn't recognize the number, he may not answer it.
Hello. Hello. Ivan Koloff.
Hey, Comrade, how you doing?
All right. This is me, Mark Ash. You've got you on our podcast where I'm here with co-host J.R. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
How you doing, fellas? Hey, J.R., how you doing? And Mark, I know that you're ready to go there. Are you sparring off, you guys, or beating each other up, or what?
No, we're actually in different states. I'm in North Carolina, and he's whereabouts are you in Virginia at, JR?
I'm in Norfolk to be, to give it a roundabout area, yeah. So I'm in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm sure Uncle Ivan is quite familiar with Norfolk, Virginia, aren't you?
Yeah. I suppose that far away it would be hard to have a fight, right? It has to be.
It's a little far between me and Mark now.
Yeah, that's great. You guys doing all right tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I know JR's a little under the weather with the flu, but he's going to try to tough it out.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Going around a bit. It's supposed to be. Yeah. A little touch of it, right, brother?
But, so Uncle, I have a quick question for you here. We got, you know, everybody, as a wrestling fan, everybody's gearing up for WrestleMania weekend, getting ready to come up. Do you have any big plans coming up on WrestleMania weekend? Are you going out to California for anything, or what's going on?
Yeah. I have to come out for the WrestleCon, they call it. We're going to have a bunch of guys out there to sign autographs, Ric Flair, and a whole bunch of top wrestlers of the past type thing.
Oh, wow.
I guess you call them legends or something. But, I'm excited about it because I really think that I'm going to see a lot of the guys that I haven't seen and some that I have seen in the last year or so. But, man, it's going to be a treat just to be able to see some of my friends and to be able with some of the California fans and fans from around that area. I'm sure people are going to be coming in from all over, from Canada. Last one I was on, they had people from Japan that was at the WrestleCon doing autographs from all over the world, Europe, England. I mean, it was great. It was just a lot of excitement, and you know, whenever you get that many guys that the people are excited about, you can just feel it in the air. You know, so happy to be part of it. I turned into a Mark again, not a Mark Ash, of course, but I turned into, you know, like a fan, and I want to end up, you know, it brings back the memories of the old days of not only before I started wrestling and being a big fan of it, but whenever I started wrestling and, man, just excited about different arenas was at, and that's what's going to give me the feeling of the memories of, you know. And I think the same thing with the fans. They're going to be excited about, you know, the remembering some of the matches these guys are in, maybe against each other, that thing. But, of course, we're not going to be demonstrating no, I hope anyway, no old matches out there. The guys continue a feud from 20, 30 years ago. I certainly hope not anyway.
I mean, I'm sure there's a few you got in the ring these days. Y'all could still play school some of these kids that are out there, so you could teach them these things. But I'll tell you, I've heard about WrestleCon. I've never actually been able to go. I've never even been to WrestleMania myself, but I've heard it's quite the spectacle and a sight to behold. So, I mean, one day before I die, I do plan on going to WrestleMania, and I mean, I'll make a deal with you, Uncle. How about I go to WrestleMania when you get inducted into the Hall of Fame finally, which you well deserve?
Well, I was hoping I'd get the call for this year. You know, I thought that maybe my turn come around, you know, type thing. But maybe they're holding me off for something. I don't know. But I hope it's going to happen. It's bound to happen one of these years, I suppose. But at least I'm going out there to be around some of the guys and doing some autographs and such. I'll be there like on the Friday. I think the one on Friday is like from 1 to 5. I'm doing autographs, and the one on Saturday, 10 to 2 or something like that. So 3 or 4 hours of doing autographs each day, and I hope the fans show up. I'm sure they will, because they got some real big names from the past out there, and it's going to be exciting, you know. And the reason why I mentioned the idea of the years ago, the way it was, you never knew if memories went back in time and the guys are still holding grudges. I don't think there's a lot of guys in that way. Certainly not me, that's for sure, because I found out the hard way that continuing matches like at WrestleCons and that were not the way to do it.
Well, I do want to jump in and say, it was kind of a surprise, and I'm actually glad to see it, that Larry Zbyszko did get the call this year.
Yeah, I guess they're inducting him. Yeah, congratulations to Larry. Yeah.
I was surprised to see Larry getting in too, but I think that I think by Bruno getting in, it kind of smoothed over, the waters for Larry, and even yourself, Uncle, I'm sure, helped a little bit with Bruno going in. I mean, as far as any kind of, I didn't see that you had heat with WWE at all, but as far as any feelings that you may have had as far as, different things in the past, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, Bruno was very instrumental in Larry getting started, because I understood that Larry Zbyszko lived not far from Bruno when Bruno first became champ, and I guess Larry's a youngster, took a liking to wrestling and really followed and admired Bruno, so much so that the story goes that Larry considered himself like a Bruno. He copied him, the way he walked, the way he talked, and everything. And that's why whenever he attacked Bruno and left him laying, sort of surprised him one time, that the people, it really got over. He was more or less saying that he's the real legend. That Bruno Sammartino's not, that he's the real legend. Was more or less the first guy to come up with that legend killer type thing that Randy Orton did later on, and I think that's what really propels him into getting, inducted. So Larry really deserves it. I'm glad for him. I think it's great. And I know Bruno would agree with that, because it did tremendous business up there in New York, and that territory, the WWE, extended all up the northeastern part of the United States, and I know they had a big show in I think in one of the ballparks up there.
Yeah, it was
Shea Stadium. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big crowd, so it's good for Larry. I'm glad.
JR, I did hear, I haven't seen where it's been confirmed or anything, but I did hear that Bruno Sammartino is going to be the person to actually induct Larry this year.
Yeah, and it couldn't be a better one. Yeah.
I mean, I read that too, and I couldn't agree with you more on that one either. Okay. I mean, speaking of the Hall of Fame, and we got you here, and we definitely agree that Uncle should be in there. Who would you want to have induct you, Uncle? Would it be Bruno? I know that you and them are really close, and you guys do have that bond of you being the one that took the title off and everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Bruno was the most significant thing in my career as far as the belt, wrestling Bruno. A lot of people don't know it now, but he was like more, I think to a lot of people, he was like a hero to them. And for me, just being a few years after him, a little younger like type thing, I ended up watching him when he became champion in '63 and admired that. And I really think that a lot of guys were the same thing, like, fans that really admired. That's why he is a legend today and was so popular back then. And for me, yeah, definitely Bruno. But there's a lot of other guys too, I guess, because I had a lot of tag team partners, such as Nikita. Some of them are still around, Don Perdue and that. Of course, I was tag team partners with my friend, Rowdy Piper, and California. So that I thought, if they ended up doing it this year, he'd be an ideal guy, especially him in some of the movies out there over the past. And also, he lives not far from there, right in Oregon there, the Portland area. So he'd be known.
Is he going to be there at WrestleCon? Is he going to be there at WrestleCon, Piper?
Rowdy? I certainly hope so. I think so. But matter of fact, I got a call through to him now to ask him if he's going to be there, because I didn't see an advertisement on everybody that's going to be there. So I know Rick is going to be there, Ric Flair, and a number of other guys, but I was especially excited about the idea if Rowdy was going to be there. But yeah, so many guys could induct, from Nikita to Bruno to Rowdy. I mean, there's like Don Canoodle, there's Jimmy Valiant I had a big thing with, that's still around, I mean, I'd be honored if any of them would do it.
I think you got a little bit of history with about everybody in the business. I mean, you could even say Ricky Morton could induct you because, I mean, without the Koloff, Rock and Roll Express never would have, probably made it in Crockett. You guys put them over like y'all did. So, I was going to, I got another quick question for you. I know that you got a new DVD put out by, who put that out and tell us about it?
Okay, I got I've got one of the DVDs pulled up, made by Elbow Productions, the 2 DVD sets.
Yeah. That's Mark Elliott. Ended up making it. Michael Elliott from the Charlotte. He did one on Rock and Roll Express and did a real good job. So he asked me about it, and I was all for it. He has, of course, Michael on Elbow. His website, Elbow Press, I guess they call it there, and you can get it from there, or you can get it from me from IvanKoloff.com. And I'm glad to autograph them, and they're like two-disc documentary, and it goes back. I think you'll really enjoy it because there's got a lot of guys on there that's talking about giving their opinion about me, from Bruno to Bill Apter to Nikita to the Rock and Roll. And a number of guys, Don Canoodle, guys that were, that I ended up wrestling against and was kind of close to it. Crusher's on there, one of my partners, and Nikita. So, and I really liked the way they ended up. He ended up doing it as far as having all these interviews in there, and more or less talking to me like, and reminiscing back about the past. And oh man, it was great. I think people will enjoy it. Yeah, the 2-part documentary, and definitely helped me in my ministry too to get some orders of that going out. I'm excited about it. I got hundreds of them here, so people like to get them. What I'm doing is just got a special on them, like $25, and send them out to you, and autograph them if you specify that you want a personal autograph or what. And of course, the other DVD I got is of matches of the past. 22 different matches on it, and it goes back over my whole career pretty well and covers that. And I think I got them out for $20, like type thing, and people are really enjoying them. Or you get the both of them together for like $40, so you can save a little bit, that way. But
I hope you left all your matches with me. I hope you left all the matches with me, Mark Ash, off of it.
Yeah, of course. I just put the matches on that where I won. And of course, that being Mark Ash, he's one of those cheater guys, right? He probably cheated me,
Yeah, I've been accused of that.
Free Jared Jackson realized, when he was blind, he didn't see what happened.
I'm sorry, what was that? Couldn't hear.
I said, the referee Jared Jackson had his eyes turned. I didn't see what happened. He cheated you.
Yeah, yeah. You could have been instrumental there. Yeah, and refereeing it or something. Yeah, that's right, eh?
Yeah.
Because you've done that a few times, right? Some refereeing, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me let the fans that may be listening know we do take call-ins on this podcast, and our call-in number is 914-338-0348. So if you have any questions or comments for Uncle Ivan, feel free to call in, and we'll be glad to talk to you.
Yeah, give me that number again.
It's 914.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, the number is 914-338-0348. Like I said, we do take call-ins on this podcast, so you can speak with Ivan if you have any questions you would like answered. comments to make? Anything that's on your mind?
Right. Oh, that's right. I'm already on the phone calls. I don't have to take the number down, right?
Absolutely.
Usually when I take a number down, that's how I got to get to repeat it about 3 or 4 times, you know. I had too many those suplexes and pile drivers.
Too many chair shots to your head, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That seems to be another hot topic in wrestling right now, and of course, especially since the whole Chris Benoit tragedy, you know, the concussions that we've all sustained over the years, and the effects it took on us.
Yeah, I was very fortunate in the sense that I didn't have nothing that really ended up permanently disabling me as of yet, but I've had enough, man. I need a right knee right now. Makes me limp to walk around. Left ankle. Several guys had to get that operation. A lot of jumping off the top rope. It causes usually your left ankle. It's been broke about 4 times, so spurs grew up on it. I got a big spur on the ankle itself, and then a spur on the bottom of the side of my foot towards the end of the foot, and a little uncomfortable to say the least, but I'm still able to walk around. Both shoulders have been broke. One has been operated on, but it needs another operation. So I got a knee, an ankle, 2 shoulders. The back is probably the worst, but man, I'm so fortunate to be even talking here, to be even here, because I've had a couple serious car accidents, total of cars. I walked away with like 24 stitches in one of them, and the other one, unfortunately, wasn't quite as lenient. I ended up breaking 6 ribs, my sternum, and hurting my back some more, to the extent that I had to be laid up for a couple of months and slept in a recliner because, you know, broken ribs, I don't know if you ever had them, but they're real tender. To lay down is just about impossible. You have to set up because the pain in your rib area. But, man, you know, being a 39-year-old guy, you know, and all these injuries, I can't complain at all.
I was going to say they're going to put you back together and you can get another run.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like you know yourself, Mark, you know, just even a few years in the business, you can end up acquiring some injuries will bother you for a long time. Most guys end up getting the same injuries I got, plus the neck. You know, you get a lot of head trauma, and even from accidents, but a lot of it is just there's a lot of nerves in there and everything. So it doesn't take a lot to mess up your neck. And fortunately, mine, I exercise it every day, and it pricks some cracks, but it's all right. Yeah.
No, trust me. Trust me, I have daily aches and pains. I'm on medication and about to have some surgery on my feet too. So yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. Right, of course, you did it longer than I did.
Yeah. You know what they tell me? They tell me now, look, a lot of guys go through this, so what you got to do is wait until you're old before you get these done, but don't wait too long. But nobody ever told me how old you got to be old. So I'm 72, and I figured, well, you know how it is when you get when you're young, like you say, oh man, I can't wait till I get older. You know, I'll be able to do this, do that. And as you get older, you say, man, this time is flying by, and then pretty soon you're like saying, well, I'm not that old. You know, 60's not that old. And then you get 70. No, 70 is not really. You know, a lot of guys still live. I just seen a lady in the paper today earlier, 103 years old. So, I still got a lot of time yet. I might have, another 4 years yet, 30, 40 years yet. So,
there you go.
I don't have to complain.
I
put in my notice, I know that. Yeah. I put in my notice the other day, and that was my 20-year notice, so I still got 19 years to go.
Okay.
Well, we talked a little bit about the WWE Hall of Fame, you know, a few minutes ago, but and I do remember it's probably been 3 or 4 years ago now. You were inducted into another wrestling Hall of Fame, I believe, out of Amsterdam, New York.
Yep, That's right, exactly. Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, yeah. Gave me a nice ring, and they're really high class. They really treated us real good. Yeah, I was inducted into that same year that they inducted Bruno into it, and also Vince Jr., Vince McMahon. They had him as inducted him as the promoter of the decade or whatever they do, as a lifetime promoter type thing. And it was really something nice to have attended. The fans were really responsive, and just to hear the guys talking and visiting with them was great. But of course, the WWE believe that even though there's the process of putting the building together and all that there now, that's going to be something that'll be, I guess, looked at in the future as being the Hall of Fame, you know. Although this is right now looked at by a lot of people as, because it's got a building and everything, it displays and different, I guess, things to remind you of the wrestlers, like, you know, whether it's a cape or wrestling trunks or something that the people remember about them. But,
and that's something that's unique about it. And that, like I said, that's something that's kind of unique with wrestling. I mean, that's something that's kind of unique in wrestling, because if you look at professional football and basketball, there's one Hall of Fame. But you look at professional wrestling right now, and you've got, you know, the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, of course, you're a member of already. You've got the WWE Hall of Fame. Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Observer got their Hall of Fame. There's multiple Hall of Fames, so it comes out to be a matter of uncle. Right, so it comes out to be a matter of right, and it comes out to be a matter of opinion as which is the official Hall of Fame, which is the real deal.
Yeah. Well, I guess looking at it, the older people probably look back and say they like the idea that they are distinguishing the different halls of fame because they were unique in that area or unique in that time because of you know, that's the wrestling they watched, like whether it's NWA, WCW, and of course, I guess being that Vince's WWE is still running and very successful, is the one that will be looked at as being the elite of the whole thing, in my mind, because you know, even back in 69, 70, when I was there, and then later on in the 70s, I went back and wrestled Bruno and Returns, and back then, later on in the 80s, it was gradually being shown around the country, you know, whether it was starting off like cable, because I remember California used to get the cable way back then, promoter Eaton, LaBelle and Eaton down there, they had a hookup where when the Madison Square Garden sold out, it would automatically go be cabled out there to California. So the people were educated to seeing that, and also as years went by, the pay-per-views, Vince really, I think, even Crockett admitted to that he should have had better people behind it, experts type thing in that, and Vince was sharp enough to realize that in there to push it along and to make it a success, where to outdo the other guys, you might say, and take over by himself. And, well, you still have some leagues out there like Tennessee that's going, you know, but not nothing to the stature of what Vince has got. So I think that'll probably be looked at later on as the elite of it, you know, because Vince covered the era when we're trying to knock each other's head off right up until they changed it to more entertainment, but still, man, some great athletes involved in it today, and I'm really amazed at some of the stuff that they do. Even though there's a lot of charisma in it, so I guess it depends on who's watching it, judging it. To me, I love to be part of anything with wrestling.
That brings me to another question. Like next week, we're going to have a debate. I've got Bob Cook, who loves the current wrestling scene, and I have Cue Ball Carmichael, who despises the current wrestling scene and thinks everything from 20 years ago is great. So they're going to debate their difference of opinion. That leads me to ask you, what style of wrestling do you prefer as a presentation?
Well, I prefer, like, I suppose if you're a movie star and you're going in there and you didn't have a stuntman, and you did it both ways. You ended up going in being your own stuntman. You had to swing on a rope or get in the ring with a professional boxer, and the skit concerned about having a couple rounds and the guy was punching you in the nose and the face. I'd rather have that era of today in that sense because of it being more entertainment. But on the other side, I think some of the stuff they're doing today is more high-risk moves than years ago. Now, years ago, to talk in this defense, man, the first time I got in the ring, for example, with Vern Gagne, and locked up with him, he reached out, slapped me in the side of the head, and busted my eardrum. And I couldn't figure out why. What the heck, what's going on? What did you do that for? I mean, if you ever had your eardrum busted, you know what I'm talking about. It really hurts. And I was a 300-pounder and, lifting a lot of weights, and I didn't consider myself maybe a great fighter, but I knew I could hit hard and kick hard, and I laid into him with it as much as I could. And after the match, he came back. The comment that he had about it was, great, to do it like that every time. And I said to myself, oh, man, I got to wrestle like, what have I got myself into here? Because, man, I felt like I was in a thrashing mill, but that was the way it was back then. I mean, you wrestle guys like Eddie Graham, Carl Gotch, Danny Hodge, or any of those guys. And I even found out later on Ken Shamrock's and that because he did a little bit of pro wrestling too, and got in the ring with him. Man, you understand that I wish I would have got a better amateur background now because those guys can go, and not only can go but do go, and as the years went by, I guess they figured the wrestlers weren't their health wasn't staying long enough for them to compete more than 20 years or something. Some of them were unique and they lasted longer than that, but a lot of them had to put it aside because of their injuries to their body. And as we know, because you ask any of these guys, Iron Sheik, I know I had to go through the ankle thing, Dick Bockwinkel, the same thing. And I mean, even Vince had to, he got in the ring a couple of times, Junior, had to have some surgery. Goes to show you that whenever you go out there with the intent to lay it in and be aggressive, you're going to get hurt, and maybe that's why Vince went the entertainment route after he got beat up a little bit himself, got hurt, because if you get hurt like that and you're just trying to just take it easy on each other, man, it goes to show you that us guys that did it back in the day, and that's most of the old-timers that's still around today, could say that whether or not the guy was taking it easy on you or thought he was because he didn't hate your end, you're still getting hurt. Because coming off the top rope and breaking your ankle 4 times, you got to be getting hurt. Shoulders. I know I ended up having a match against Ric Flair, for example, in Columbia, South Carolina. And I went to do my move off the top, which was get up on top, have him softened up and grab by the hair, put my knee in the back of his head, and push him off and try to ram my knee into his back, finish him off. And my foot started slipping on the cable, the rope, and did a split type thing while he reached up to counter me, grabbed my wrist and went to flip me off, and I landed right on the left shoulder and tore the rotary messed it up. It was the match came to an end pretty good. Although we finished the match, the time limit, I forget, it was 12, 15 minutes or something like that we went after the injury. And Ric Flair was punishing me, I think, even though he was an expert at it. The short arm scissors and stuff like that. Just simple things like that. I had to give it up. I had to say, hey, that's enough. Because I won't be able to get my shoulder fixed. And I remember the dressing room after kind of pop it back in, and the boys trying to help and that. I'm sure Rick will remember that call, because you hate it when you hurt somebody else that bad, especially when you respect them and you like them. It's just the idea that you're out there to win your match, and sometimes stuff like that happens. So,
well, that's another way wrestling changed over the years.
Yeah, I'd like to. If to participate today and have a choice, I'd rather be successful at it today, not only for the idea of not getting hurt so bad, although you can, but the money is much better,
That's another way wrestling changed over the years, though. I mean, trust me, I never was a superstar, but even on the indies it worked this way. I mean, if you got hurt and you couldn't work through it, you lost your spot. And now you go on the shelf and they bring you back.
Yeah. I was even told several times, because I said, hey, man, I just hit the turnbuckle and broke my shoulder, a hairline fracture, take time off. I mean, my whole shoulder just turned black, and I mean, it was because of the bruise. It was hurt, and no, don't even think of it, So you just, I never thought of it. I never asked for time off or nothing. I just worked through it, and but about 2 years later, spurs are growing in it because it's not set right, and end up having to get surgery done on it. I told him I got to go in for surgery. Did he say about this? Okay, schedule some time there. Went in and come back and told him, doctor said I should be off 3 months. 3 months? Nah, not 3 months. I tell you what, 3 weeks while you're in the sling, and you'd be back in the ring in 3 weeks, or we're going to have to put somebody else in that spot. And that's just the way it was. And as far as taking time off to be sick, like a cold or something like that, back in those days, this is what they told me anyway, is if you're in the hospital, we'll take it. Okay, in the hospital for 3 days, get back in the ring when you get back. But if you're not in the hospital, we expect you to be on the job. That's the way they told you. Whether it was the Georgia Championship, New York, or if it was down in Florida, wherever I went, that was the understanding. That they expect you in the ring. And but of course nowadays,
speaking of today's current product, is there anybody out there? I mean, I know you don't really watch that much, but is there anybody who you've seen who you think you would say probably you kind of get behind that you like? I mean,
as far as
like
current wrestlers, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Most of them, man, they've got talent. These guys. I mean, not only talking skills, but obviously, I was always told talking was important. The way you look and the way you wrestle makes an all-around good wrestler, successful wrestler. But I think that.
I mean,
I think that
you got you got your young talent out there. You got Roman Reigns, which is if I'm not mistaken, that's Samoa Sika's son, who's on the rise right now. Very talented kid. I don't know if you know who he is or not, but he is very good. You got Blackjack Mulligan's grandson in there doing his thing. Both of them actually. I mean, it's just an amazing time right now. I think honestly. To sit there and watch what these guys are doing, but without you guys paved the way for these guys to get there, So
yeah, in that sense, I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's I mean, I don't know. So I mean, I know there's another hot topic.
I think of any one of them. I think just about any one of them out there, Roman Reigns. I mean, and Jack Mulligan's kin there, what do you call him?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. I'm trying to say Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
All of those guys. Man, I can't think of all the names now, but some of them not only look the part, but they're real strong and everything. I mean, some of the featured strong like John Cena exhibit and the champion exhibit. Just about all these guys. He's the guy that takes the guy by the legs and swings him around and around. He's like a 220-pound guy. He's taking guys 300 pounds. That takes strength to do stuff like that. Come off the top, they're real agile. There's a number of them, really, to say, so it's hard to pick one. But just to talk about Rusev there, he's got everything it takes, and then some. I really think that the some would be, if they would have just listened. I tried to call up there about 3 or 4 times and talk to Triple H, talk to somebody in control to the extent that I just had to suggest for something that would put Rusev over the edge, a hold type thing that I really believe that he could beat the champion with that. And I can't even get anybody to return a call. So, I think that a lot of the old-timers would have their opinion, just like I have, too, about any one of these guys, as far as the thing. But I just happen to think with this Rusev, with this particular hold, would really put him over the edge that the people would really want to see him get beat. And everybody'd have trouble beating him, including the champ, strong and devastating as he is.
Well, they're going like that right now with Rusev. I mean, they're making a big deal out of the fact that he is undefeated. They got him heading in against John Cena. And, I mean, this past Monday, it almost made me flash back to 1986 between Magnum and Nikita when they bought out the whole Warrior and they're doing the contract signing. I was just waiting for John Cena's mom to be right there. And, and here comes Uncle Ivan going, "You listen to me, you stupid American woman, why are you going to listen to big movie?" Hey, but, it was pretty, I personally, I think Rusev is, he's amazing. He's really good.
Yeah,
I will say,
I like him because...
I will say I do think Triple H is trying to listen to the fans a little bit, because I was reading, I don't want to quote the website because I can't remember at the moment, that they did manage to get Brock Lesnar re-signed, and being the crowd is not responding to Roman Reigns like they want them to, that Triple H is actually pushing to McMahon to have Brock retain the title at Mania.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I think Triple H is trying to listen to somebody, but I'm not sure it's the right place. So.
Well, we could go off on a whole side subject there. Because you got Brock Lesnar, who's the champion, who isn't even seen on TV. And the world title to me, I've always been used to seeing Flair coming out there every Saturday and having that title, and that made that title mean that much more. And for it not to be seen, they're using it as a special attraction. Special attraction was Andre the Giant, not a world title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I really like Brock Lesnar in the sense that he looks the part. You can create another face or body type thing, I think, to be more intimidating as far as looking. And I think that's why it comes across he's undefeatable, because I think that's him. I think that he goes in there with the intention, with the mindset that he relates back to the MMA days or whatever. Like I'm going to rip this guy's head off, and that comes across to the people, and I think that's why they really like to see him, or like to see him, somebody be able to be tough enough to beat him. John Cena did a great job as far as wrestling anybody, to talk about a guy that's obviously a very strong guy and being able to do just about everything. I really like him. But there's a lot of guys there that I think that he could have as champion if the right thing was done, including the guy I'm just talking about, Rusev too. But that'd be something different. But I think that's what it takes, is something extra to put him over the edge. A guy like Rusev. But they'll figure it out and all that. It's really hard.
All right, guys.
I think.
All right, guys. We've got a call. All right, we've got a caller. Caller, are you on the air?
Yes, I'm on here.
All right. This is Joe Pollock, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. What do you want to say to Uncle Ivan tonight?
Hello, Mr. Koloff. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Joe. How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Are you still wrestling?
Brother.
Are you still wrestling?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's really strange that you asked me that question. I had pretty well put it up all together 10 years ago, but I ended up once in a while here and there, maybe 3 or 4 times a month, and then I ended up pretty well not doing anything about 6 months ago, and then I had done something up in West Virginia, and then I said, well, that's it, I better not, there are a lot of injuries and get that age, So I ended up saying I don't take anymore. But then they called me up to have a match this past Saturday in Shelby, North Carolina, because that's where the Rock and Roll Express had ended up winning the belts from me and Khrushchev back in 84, 83, whatever it was.
85.
And, they said it was a fundraiser for the high school, for the team, so I said, I'll get in there. They wanted me to have a chain match against George South. I know George, a good Christian man, and he's easy like that thing, so we just go out there and, entertain the people and take it easy. And pretty well that's the way it happened, but, man, you don't realize after when you get out there that what shape you're really in, because you're thinking, well, I can still do that, but you find the mileage is the speedometers went around a couple times. But they got me involved in one again here in Clayton coming up first next month. They call it the Ivan Koloff Tag Team Tournament in Clayton, and they got me at one end of a chain with Kevin Sullivan at the other end outside the ring, and I think it's let me see now, the guys wrestling in the ring against each other.
It's not Bagwell and Shane Douglas.
No, it's Shane Douglas, that's right. And Shane is against who?
Buck Bagwell.
That's right, yeah. So that should be a great match there. They just wanted something so Kevin Sullivan wouldn't interfere in the match, and that's the way they did it. They'd be outside in the kind of the other end of the chain to Kevin Sullivan. So I hope Kevin doesn't have flashbacks when he was one of these good guys back when he started, and I beat him up. Go out there trying to get revenge against me now. So, but I'll threaten him before the match. I'll tell him that if he gets too smart with me, I'll bleed all over him. I don't know if I answered your question there, Joe. But
I've got the poster pulled up for it. I've got the poster pulled up for it. It's the Ivan Koloff Tag Team Tournament, Saturday, April 4th, Clayton Fitness in Clayton, North Carolina. On the poster, he's got Kevin Sullivan, Buff Bagwell, Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, Ming, the Barbarian, Gunner, Shane Douglas, and, of course, Uncle Ivan advertised on the card.
Wow, they got a lot of talent there. Yeah, I just didn't have my information in front of me here, so I'm also the commissioner. They designated me the commissioner a couple of years ago, and I ended up, I'm glad you refreshed my mind about that. That's a great card.
Yeah. I went last year to the tag team tournament last year that they had down there, and I'll tell you what, that crowd is amazingly hot. For the place where they put it on, I mean, that crowd is just, on fire from,
they are. Yeah. Is our caller still on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, brother. I was just wondering, what part of the country are you from?
I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh, Wilmington. All right. You're within distance of going up there. I was just going to say, if you make it to the matches, don't forget to come up to me and remind me and talk to you on the phone. And, yeah, it's definitely worth it to go up and see it because that kind of talent with Ming and those guys there, man. Gunner, he was a big star, too, on the TV and everything. So there's a lot of guys there that will be happy to see, I'm sure, and you'll definitely get some memories of wrestling there that night.
I think you and I had a match or two in Clayton, North Carolina.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did, yeah. Over the years, I should have marked down all my matches or something, but, Mark, back in those days, it's like you're wrestling just about every night, and it's someplace, and you end up having that mindset of when you wrestled with the large organization, WCW or WWE up there, that you're wrestling every night, so you have trouble keeping up to get to the towns and get the workout in and being able to build your strategy against your opponent, whoever it is. But I hope I didn't get you too mad at me and out to get some revenge there, Mark.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. I remember my promotion. I used to wrestle stuff at Clayton, and I'm pretty sure I brought you in on one of those cards, because we've wrestled so many times over the years.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I remember that, yeah. Yes, sir.
I was going to ask you now, Uncle, Ming is very well known in this business for being the legit tough guy out of the locker room. He has quite a few urban tales or real tales, actually, to be told. Do you know of any good story, Ming story out there?
Mean story?
You
mean something that was like crazy?
I mean,
like between the boys or something to do with one of the boys or that? Oh, yeah, I got a lot of stories, man. I had the pleasure of wrestling against guys like Lou Thez, which is one of the great champions of the past, champion many times, and he was,
I believe, mostly.
Oh yeah, he could tie you up in a knot, untie and tie another, without you being able to do anything about it. Danny Hodge, of course, the elite to me, undefeated AAU champion, become pro. I met him the first time, 1967 in Japan, and I was even tag team partners with him against some of the Japanese guys. And I realized that, man, I'm glad he's my partner because he could, really, he put a guy in a hole, the guy go to reverse it or something. By the time the guy to reverse it, he had to reverse it again, like, boom, boom, boom. Like, man, he was really good. Stories about him, a lot of stories.
I feel like squeeze an apple with his hand, right, and crush it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I was saying, the wrestler Haku, Ming, whatever his name is, he's considered one of the tough guys in business. And I didn't know if he was a film.
Yeah. See, those guys, they weren't really just tough guys wrestling, but they're just tough guys. You know what I'm saying? They're the guys like Hawk of the Road Warriors. These guys are the Samoan guys, or to this day, they're the same. They're just big, burly guys, and they've been in a lot of fights, and they know how to fight. They're the guys you don't want to tangle with, but, I've had the pleasure of getting in there with some real tough guys, but they're tough guys with wrestling, like the Billy Robinsons, the Vern Gagnes, Carl Gotches, Lou Thez, and that. Man, whenever you get in there with just a rough and tough type of guy that is big and strong, the Swede Hansons, the guys that can throw a punch and knock you out. But like that was the kind of guys I liked as a partner, because I could just walk behind them, going and back, from the ring, because the fans would try to take a swing at you or something, and they'd just be popping them out, knocking them down, and it'd be just like a couple of bodies going back and forth in the ring, from the ring to the dressing room. because they'd end up trying to hurt you, the fans, because they're over the years there was a lot of booze in the arenas that are allowed, and those fans would get a little brave with the alcohol and come up to try to sucker you or something, or get throw a punch at you. And it was always nice to have guys like Dick Murdoch or Ray Stevens or Sweet Ant, a big guy like Nikita, Crusher, guys that ended up, the people knew enough not to mess with you. But whenever you had to get in the ring with these guys and end up having to fight them, you were happy then to have them as your partner rather than to go against them. Man, I could just imagine. Like guys like I had, like Vladimir Pietrov, 310 pounds, solid muscle, and you could just tell by looking at the guy. He was something like the champ today up there. He was the type of person you didn't want to mess with. It only takes so much. You had to fight him. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way this guy was. The Nikita, that was so intent, but yet a great athlete. That whenever I told him, whatever you do, lay it in. That sickle. I didn't have to tell him twice. I mean, he would charge him like he was in a football game, but he'd hit him with that sickle. They do a double backflip.
I'm gonna see if you remember somebody. I worked with this guy when I was doing some wrestling in California. Guy by the name of Alex Knight. He used to work with AWA a lot. I do know that.
I think I heard the name, but I don't believe I've ever met Alex Knight. No. Is he one of those?
I know he did some AWA work, and I know he did some WWE work, and it was mostly undercard. But I mean, he was one of the toughest guys I've ever been in the ring with. But I mean, he knew his stuff inside and out. He was a great guy too.
Yeah. Oh man, there's a lot of guys. That's like a Billy Robinson or something like that. I put him in a 20-minute match. I mean, you felt like you were in a 20-minute match. You're more like an hour match. But he never was worried. I mean, no matter what hold you put him out, like the Carl Gotches and that, Danny Hodges, I mean, they come right out of it. They don't have to hesitate, and they make it look like it was a contest. They're like playing with you, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of embarrassing. But I'd rather wrestle those guys than some of these guys that is out there to knock your head off. And that's why I always like to have them as a partner type thing. Guys like Buzz Sawyer, let me tell you a quick story, and I know I've told it before in some of these podcasts, but I was tag team with Buzz Sawyer in Georgia. And 1 week we'd wrestle in the Georgia area. Next week we'd go up to the Ohio area, Cincinnati, all those towns up there, Cleveland, that. And, of course, we do the TV out of Atlanta, and we'd end up being in a match where one particular night, Williamsburg, West Virginia, and ended up, after the match, we had a street fight against Stan Hansen, Tommy Rich, and blood all over, and kind of a wild match. And we stopped at the store after to get a bag of beer or pretzels, whatever, to make our trip back. We had to drive to like Cincinnati to get a flight back to Atlanta or whatever, and we ended up. I got the bag and I got the stuff in it, and I'm walking to the door, and this one guy, obviously a fan, says, street fight. You guys don't know what a street fight is. If you're in a street fight with me, I'd show you how to street fight. And I said, oh, is that right? I was going up to the door, right? And I went through the door, and I was watching them. They did try to sucker punch me or something. I was put the bag down, still keeping an eye on him. By the time I straightened up, that guy was like, Buzz Sawyer came through the door like a bullet and picked him up, and in one move he was out in the parking lot, and Buzz was slamming him on the pavement, was picking him up like a rag doll, and matter of fact, the police officer drove up and jumped out of his car like Barney Fife. He had his gun out over the top of the car, and he would say, drop that man. That's what he said. He says, drop that man. Buzz threw him down, and the cop says, went to arrest Buzz. And I told him, I said, hey, that guy asked for it. He was going to jump me and street fight. He was going to show me how to street fight. He asked for it, so I guess Buzz was jumping in. He's my partner and tagged him. Anyway, Buzz had to put up a retainer type thing to come back to court, but ended up paying the fine, and it was all right. But the guy really asked for it, but that was the case there, having a good partner, and I had to do the same thing myself, protect my partner at times. And matter of fact, when Rowdy ended up one time getting stabbed, and it was during my match. He was watching my match, and he got stabbed, and I came back from the match, and he's all bloody, and I thought, man, what happened? This guy ended up, I was just watching the match, and he went to jump me, and he didn't know he had a knife, and he was able to stick the knife in Rowdy's stomach, but didn't stop Rowdy. He still went out for his match after he just wrapped himself up. Tough guy. And, but when you have situations like that, man, and I had to return the favor to Rowdy one night, ended up going up to the match. Me and Rowdy were the Mid-Atlantic champions against Wahoo and Ric Flair. And Ric Flair beat the good guy at that time. 2 out of 3 fall. We ended up going out there and looked like we were winning the match, and got disqualified at the end. But so they won the match, and we still ended up having a big riot on the way back out of the ring. Rowdy even had to fight his way to the ring because the guy did like Rowdy, I guess. Rowdy threw me the bagpipes, and I caught them, and he fought this guy down and took him down, and thought the cops took him out, but he was there at ringside when we got out of the ring at the end, and he came up to Rowdy, nose to nose, and Rowdy did it so neat, brought his knee up to his groin, and the guy went fell back into the audience type thing. We just walked right on by, but I kept an eye on the guy, and he went around, made a big circle, and he came up to sucker shot Rowdy, and I ran in and caught him and broke his jaw, the guy. They had a big lawsuit against it. Turned out he was a soldier off the leave. And then when we came back for the court date, this same guy was a police officer. It was in Sumter, South Carolina, this all happened. So we see we didn't have much of a chance, but the Crockett's took care of it at the time. But I guess their lawyers and everything, The guy, obviously we had some witnesses, and the guy went to attack us, and we're defending ourselves. So, but that goes to show you, your partner's so important. And it didn't have to always be a big guy either to be a scrapper. Roddy Piper could mix it up with any of them. He was a good boxer, Golden Gloves boxer, and could really wrestle. Yeah. I just had to tell you a couple of stories like that. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to ask you about another match. Now, to my knowledge, nobody got attacked. I mean, I wasn't there, but I'm just curious about the crowd response on this, because I imagine it was tremendous. Taking back the Georgia Championship Wrestling. It was a cage match. You and Gene Anderson were special referees, because each team were their own referee. It was the Assassins versus Dusty Rhodes and Ole Anderson. And, of course, Anderson did the infamous, he turned on Dusty in the match. Yep. As over as everybody was at that point in time, what was the crowd response in the arena like when that happened?
Oh, man, they went crazy. Yeah, for him to have done that, to turn on him like that, man, it was really, because Dusty was really over. No matter where he went, he seemed like he's over. He had the charisma, and the people, big guy, could really do the rap and get under the ring. He could really move around the ring good. I've known Dusty since 1960. So I got to be around him quite a bit, and down to Florida, wrestled him, and Houston, I wrestled him, the Atlanta area, here in Georgia, and here in the Carolinas. But man, that night the people talk about getting close to riot. That's the way it would get much closer, because I've been in a few riots where the people went crazy and filled the ring up with chairs, or you had to fight your way back, just different situations. And that night was as close as any night to doing that for them to, to riot.
Absolutely. And a lot of people aren't aware of this because when they think of casket matches, they automatically think The Undertaker. But correct me if I'm wrong, Ivan, weren't you in the very first casket match?
Yeah, I believe so. I never heard of it before. And Dusty came up with that idea, I guess, and put the bug in the promoter's ear out in Houston, Texas. And Paul Bosch was the promoter in the Houston area, and I guess he liked it because I was going out to the ring with the idea of the Russian, and I had that was the time I had the red shovel, right? I was burying all these Americans. I put a small mark on it if it was an insignificant guy. If it was like a main eventer, I would put a big mark on my shovel, and I had the shovel, just about filled up with marks, and I'd go out there bragging about this is what I was going to do with him. I was not only going to beat him, but I was going to hurt him so bad I was going to bury this American. And that's what I had said about this Dusty Rhodes that I was going to do to him. And Dusty had convinced the promoter to come up with this idea that we'd have a casket in the ring, and anything goes. Matter of fact, falls were taken, but that you couldn't determine the winner by falls. It had to be determined by whoever could get the other guy in the casket first, and they'd pick up the casket and take him out of the arena in the casket. Well, it was well taken. The people really seemed to get a hold of it, that wanted to see it, and they came, and what a reaction to it. I mean, it was the type of thing with that casket in the ring. It falls inside, outside the ring, any place, no disqualification, and get to do about anything. We had falls outside. You want a fall or two outside. I did the same thing. And in the ring, the same thing. And my matter of fact, I had one fall with the knee drop off the top, like what I had beat Bruno with, and ended up the people figured that was it. And then later on, I ended up having him nearly in the casket, and they just couldn't quite get him all in there, and his head was hanging on the casket, I went to the top rope to jump on him, and he moved away or fell off the casket, I think, and I hit my knee on the side of the casket, and hurt my knee, and he did his move, the I don't know what he called it, the boxing thing where he made his fist go around and around. Yeah, and people went crazy. They loved it. They put me in the casket and started carrying me out of the ring, and I broke out of the casket, tore the casket all up, and chased those guys away. They were carrying me, It was it was good. Wow. I don't even know if that's on tape, but I'd love to have seen it. I wish that somebody could get
it's
that.
It's on tape. It is on tape. I actually have it somewhere in my collection. They did release it as part of the All-Star Wrestling videos. Yes, sir.
Wow!
I do have it somewhere in my collection. I'll have to hunt it down, but it is on video.
God, I'd love to see that. I haven't seen it since then. I'd love to see that. I think it'd be entertaining, to say the least.
Now, I was going to ask a real quick question. I'm going to go back. You mentioned a name about 15 minutes ago, I know, but Vladimir Petrov, he was only in the business maybe about a year, and then he disappeared. What happened to him?
I understood that he was involved in some stuff that, maybe it wasn't totally legal. Some people that up there where he come from, and that he ended up coming to wrestling, and I guess they had caught the big guy, and he had to go back because he was implicated in it, or they thought he was, and evidently he ended up, I guess you call it, taking the fall, as I understand, for the big guy, and he did 2 years, and but they set him up in a grocery store, I guess, after that, because I tried to get him to come back after that, and he said, no, he said, I don't need it now. He said he got set up in this, I guess, very profitable grocery store, like a big store, like, so, yeah. But he was intimidating to look at, something like the guy today that's champion.
Brock Lesnar, yeah. I mean, Vladimir, to me, he was actually bigger and thicker than Nikita. And because I mean, I've been watching old WCW stuff I had on DVD from 1987 when you brought him in. I mean, that man was a beast. I ain't gonna say that he could work real well, but I mean, what was with the Crockett's giving you the greenhorns? We give you the green guys to work with. Go ahead.
I know what you're saying, but he was the only one, Nikita, and I must say, for a guy that never had any lessons, in wrestling, like a wrestling school, or learn any holds or anything like that, I knew that he was a big guy, 290 when he came in good shape, and because he had played football, and that he was educated. And I figured and his temperament seemed like, he's a laid-back type of guy that the extent that, could work with him, and he would listen and stuff like that. And he was right, man. I don't think he could have found a better guy out of the circumstances. He got it done, and because he'd do what he was told. It was to my best interest that he was become a star, because that was more or less my intent. Like, bring him in as a partner, and the more he got over, and I made sure that I was, they're going along with those lines like that thing, and it worked, because Nikita laid it in, and each day we show him some things. I think Don Cornudo was very instrumental to the idea of trying to inject some good stuff in it, because Don was a good friend, and he ended up, because we were partners before, and ended up that Nikita carried it off, couldn't be better, right on through to the end, until this American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, took my nephew away from me and became the superpowers.
I was actually getting ready to ask you about that, Uncle. You were, of course, you were there that night in Greensboro, or wherever it was that took place. That was an infamous
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay. What do you recall? Did they tell you ahead of time? Did you know what was coming? And what was the atmosphere like when Nikita turned? How did the fans react? You were there live, so.
Yeah, we're in the dressing room like I remember. We're either on earlier. I don't think we're on yet, but we're supposed to go on later, I think. That was it. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but we're coming up in a while. But turned out was, because I was there, maybe we had to be in a match, and I didn't know nothing about it. They even told at the time that you're going to go out with Dusty and tag team, not to say nothing to anybody, that this is what they wanted. And when a booker says something like that, a guy wants to wrestle in that territory. And I already had told Crusher and Nikita, if an opportunity comes up that you feel is going to be better for you, go for it, because I didn't want to hold them back in their career type thing. And I'm going back from, the shower type thing to the room and looking at the monitor, and saying that all of a sudden I come out and the monitor is having, I think they're wrestling against the Four Horsemen that night, or a couple of the Four Horsemen. And,
it was J.J. Foley.
J.J. Foley. And I see Dusty come out, and then they announced Dusty's partner, because the fans knew that Magnum TA had been injured in a car wreck, or some of them did, and so they announced on TV the surprise partner or something for Dusty Rhodes. Teams were dropped like Andre the Giant, stuff like that. But anyway, enough to make the people think that, hey, Dusty's going to have it all right. Going to have a good chance against these Four Horsemen type thing. team, and all of a sudden I see the guy coming out, it's Nikita. I'm saying, what's going on here? And it didn't take long to put two together, right? That Nikita was going to be Dusty's partner. So, but I was glad for him. A little concerned about, okay, where I go now, what do I do now? But pick him up with the idea of maybe wrestling Paul Jones and the Russian assassins turning on me. And I think we still carried it out pretty good. And
basically you ended your WCW run. I mean, they had turned you babyface, and I think they were leading towards you and Nikita maybe teaming again or whatever. But I think Nikki left at that point, and then you left, and it was just all around.
They never really came back for a while. They had me wrestle against Nikita, and even in a chain match type thing, and he cheated me out of it. But I taught him too well, I guess.
I'm gonna change the subject. I'm gonna change the subject a little bit because I want to talk about something else, kind of early in the '70s. Correct me if I'm wrong, and tell me the story. But when the IWA with Eddie Einhorn came about, I know some guys went to work for him, and you were one of them. Now, did you not get blacklisted over working that promotion?
Yeah, I guess that's what they call it, but I wouldn't say totally. I know that they're hesitant about having me come back because I guess when you go against the established organizations like the NWA back then and Vince type thing, it I guess it makes them a little upset. But I didn't look at it the way I looked at it. We're independent contractors. They have 2 drugstores on the same block or something, and I just figured I'm in it for the money. I'm a self-contractor, so they promised me more money. So that's the idea. And a contract started off with 6 months and twice the money. So I said, okay, see what happens. And after the 6 months, it was like negotiations for trying to get me to come back. But I ended up going through with the deal that I had promised, because I've just had a notion that I was up there in New Jersey, close to New York, and I was supposed to leave them and go over for Vince. And I did the last minute thing. It was just, I said that I couldn't, I'm conscious the idea if I left one of the main guys of the organization, maybe it would fall apart and it'd be my fault type of thing, and I didn't want, I guess I was down deep, a good guy at heart, so I ended up staying. It was a mistake because they ended up letting me go, the IWA, and firing me type of thing, because I had told them they wanted to negotiate longer contract, but less money. And I said, no, you said you'd negotiate with me. That's not negotiating when you'd give me an offer that's less than I've already got. So I just told them, they told me, I guess, that's it, you're fired then if you don't. And then I started calling around, what do I do, as far as wrestling. So I ended up even going to Memphis for a couple of weeks, wrestling around in independent shows around Charlotte area with Rip Hawk. He ended up putting on some shows, and we did that together. Then we ended up, I ended up getting into Indianapolis. I think the Bruiser ended up using me there.
Was that Crusher's territory then?
I guess they started seeing that the other promoters were using me, so they ended up using me also in Florida, and then sending me to Houston. And it was, they let it go, and Vince, I guess, stopped it out by having me come back there in the later 70s, that was 75 with the IWA. By this time, I don't know, 77 or something like that, I went back and wrestled against Bruno again. And I had a lot of trips to Japan, I know that, about 12 tours. Just ended up messing up a few times, and they'd send me over to Japan. So that was
I got a question for you, Uncle.
Uh-huh.
And in 1983 when you were there in WWF in 1983. Get ready to go to Crockett, if I'm not mistaken. And was there ever any talks of maybe you being the one who took the title off of Bob Backlund instead of Iron Sheik, or? I mean, I'm just curious.
It never really came out. Never really came out and said that, but I did my little stay up there in New York. I lost a lot of weight, trying to do some running and stuff, and because I figured wrestling was going more faster pace type thing in the ring, and did that, and so I wrestled against Bob Backlund, and I really enjoyed that. He was a great wrestler. And then after that, I was supposed to come back. I had a trip to Kuwait, and ended up on the flight. That's when I ended up getting a little drunk on the vodka, and ended up having a fight with the Iron Sheik, and he bit me in the neck, and we ended up. But I got the tour in over in Japan and came back. I had finished up in New York about a few weeks, a month or so, and then going back to Charlotte area, and I ended up being asked by the office if I would consider staying longer. And I had torn my knee, cartilage in my knee, and I had surgery out a year before that, and it had another cartilage caught up. Matter of fact, even when I was wrestling Bob up there, the leg had locked up, and you had to really relax to get it to unlock, and they asked me to stay. The junior asked me, Vince, and I found out later. I told him that I had to go back and get this knee taken care of. But I would definitely like to come back and try to get it fixed. And but they, I guess, wanted me for that deal. The belt, and I ended up goofing up on that, and they didn't really come out and say that, but I found out later that that's what they did. So I figured two and two together, that's probably what they wanted me for, but I ended up going back and get the knee taken care of. As it turned out, I couldn't get it scoped out again because I had pseudo gout in it. I had to wait to get that cleared up. So, but that was just one of the things of wrestling.
All right, let me hear JR. We got one more guest we need to add to the line, so let me go ahead and try to call him in. The Beast James Beasley we talked about earlier. We'll try to get him on before we run out of time tonight. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did he hang up on us, did he?
He's called somebody else.
Oh, okay.
What I'm doing is not coming.
You have reached the voicemail box of 9103528.
Guess he's not. Let me try one more time. If he don't answer this time, I'm going to give up on him and go back to what we were talking about.
Okay.
All righty. So you better answer. I know where he lives.
Absolutely.
Whoever he is.
You have reached the voicemail box of 91.
All right.
All right.
Mark, would you want me to text him?
Yeah, text him and tell him I called him.
Okay.
Now, I got a quick question for you.
I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Would you ever make an appearance down here in Wilmington or no?
Yeah. What about Wilmington? I'm sorry.
Would you make a appearance here in Wilmington or no?
Yeah, I just was there a couple weeks ago. They had a autograph thing down there. Harley Race was there. You didn't hear about it? Man, they had quite a bit of talent there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Jim Cornette, a tribute to Jim Cornette, I guess it was. And they had about 7 or 8 guys there, I guess. Maybe in one of them, and Ted DiBiase, a whole bunch of guys, man. I can't even remember all the guys who were. Yeah, it was Coastline Convention Center, I think they had it at. So enjoyed that, seen some of the best. Yeah, by the railroad tracks down there, yeah. That was the last time I was there, just a couple weeks ago, yeah. But yeah, I love coming back to Wilmington and that, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ivan. Let's go to Memphis. We've kind of evaded something I did talk to you about earlier. Of course, we know what Bobby Fulton's making the rounds with about the royalties on all the old footage that Vince is using on the network. And what is your opinion on that? Do you feel you owed royalties off of your appearance, or you're satisfied with the pay for your appearance on the TV tape? And I mean, what are your feelings on it?
Well, I kind of feel that whenever movie makers, actors, and actresses and that end up doing a movie or something, a book or a record is being made or whatever. Usually you have the rights to it. To know the whole legal aspect of that, I guess you have to have a lawyer and all this. But to me, there should be some kind of compensation for somebody. If somebody else is making money on something, your effort, and when you got paid for that effort, say wrestling for another organization, and you ended up get paid for the wrestling part of it, but now that matches that you wrestled for that organization has been sold to somebody else, and that they're making money on it. To me, it seems like the fair thing to do is to give the people that's on that, some kind of residual, because that's the way it's set up with actors and athletes.
But then,
backed up by copyrights where you get a fine or in jail type thing if you break that. So I know that we don't have copyrights as wrestlers type thing, but you'd think we'd have some rights, as we busted our bodies up, whether it was 30, 40, 50 years in my case. And you ended up having a career where they end up now putting together DVDs or whatever, or movies on it, or some kind of dolls, action figures, whatever it may be. If some companies feel it's necessary to get your permission for the action figures, to me it seems like they should be obliged to give you some kind of compensation for those things that they sold to make money. Yeah. So in that sense, it would be nice. I mean, I know for me, here I am now, a wrestler that's been beat up and everything, and consequently, if I didn't make it by investments, I'm sitting here. In any case, whether I made it or not, I'm not getting paid for something that's being put out there, and they're making some, even if it's a little bit,
Right. Then what you would get into is the discussion of having a wrestlers union, which has been discussed for many, 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 many years. They're the only professional sport out there that does not have a union. And, if there was one, then everybody could, at that point, take them up on it. Now, I'll make the argument, not that I agree with it or disagree, but I'll make the argument that Bob Cook did. He said Vince McMahon spent millions and millions of dollars for the tape libraries that he has. And in order to transfer over that footage, there's another millions of dollars that he's got to go through, too. So, yes, is he making money on it? Yes. But is it, I can see it. I'm sure if you put out a best of Ivan Koloff DVD, you're going to get well compensated for it. But because, I guess maybe maybe it should be like the value of the match. Like for me personally, you beating Bruno Sammartino would be worth me buying a DVD, and you should be compensated for it. But if it's just you versus Randy Monkey, what do you do? I could buy a DVD for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If it was something that is, they're not going to try to put something together either that they're going to market that's not sellable. Like it's not going to be popular with the fans because they want to make sure that they can sell it. So they're only going to put out something that's good, whether it's an action figure or DVD of the matches or some T-shirt or whatever it may be. It's going to be something that they feel is going to sell, so that they're going to, if they're using like me as a character in that, then they put together, I suppose, a bunch of matches or something that would highlight me, like the more as a documentary type thing, or
I would love to see.
And give the guy something to it. I mean, to me, if you're making millions on it, and even if you put out millions to purchase this, you put out millions and you get millions back, but you're now dealing with quite a few guys that's on these tapes. So, take 20% or something and split it up among the boys would be really nice. Really nice.
Excuse me, Mark.
Something guys appreciate.
What I was going to say is I think that Vince kind of did this to himself in a way, because with him being the only game in town and him being the only face and the only promoter and everything, wrestler from the older guys and the legends, which you guys deserve something for what y'all did. Mm. And to now, everybody's turning to Vince and going, take care of us. And Vince ain't got but so much money. But I know he's a billionaire, but there's only so much money to go around, and there's tons of wrestlers out there, So that's why I think it'd be nice if there was a union, but
sure, I agree. It's the idea that probably they're going to sell a lot more of the current guys like John Cena, the champion, something that they remember in the last 20 years, probably more popular than maybe some of the old ones. But there's a lot of old fans out there that would like to maybe see that some of these guys that they remember back when they were kids. So it'll all work. It works itself out probably to sell 100 million marketing of the guys that's out there right now, the popular guys. That's great, but at this smaller scale, if you end up having other guys that maybe will only do $10 million, say, for example, still, if you take whatever it is they're giving those guys now, which I understand, they get some pretty good royalties from the current guys. If you took that same percentage of whatever sold of the guys that's in the past, it would be a nice little gift for the guys to have, a little retirement type thing coming in, and it would be more fair. It'd be, I think, a little bit more fair on that standpoint. But you can't make an organization like Vince McMahon has got the WWE, can't force him into it. I mean, it's got to be something he's going to want to do, because I've asked myself, and I suppose if you had millions of dollars to throw away and challenge it, maybe you'd end up winning something. But who's got that kind of money to be able to challenge? He's got a whole room full of lawyers.
Pretty boy Doug Summers tried this, I want to say it was about 2-3 years ago, and the whole thing was thrown out of court because there were no contracts in place where he, retained his rights. So the fact that he appeared on a TV taping, knowing it was a TV taping, that's implied consent. I mean, that's the thing, it's, morally, does he owe you? Yeah, I agree he does. But legally, I just don't think it's there.
They can get, I guess, around the law enough to be able to, show that they don't have to. I mean, but it would be nice. It would be really something that would encourage the guys to want to come back and do stuff to be part of it today.
Well, I think that Vince is doing his part, though, to reach out to the legends now. I mean, as best he can to reach his hand out to you guys. I mean, like, when he extended the olive branch to Bruno, I mean, that was on Triple H. I mean, he takes all credit for it. I think it's good, because so many of you guys were hurt by what he did, by what Vince did. by swallowing up all the territories, And I think it's kind of a good. I think with Triple H getting ready to be at the helm of the company, I mean, I see that he respects the legends and who paved the way for him. So who's to say that he ain't going to come up with a compensation package or something for y'all?
Yeah, being that he wrestled himself, he knows what it's like, where senior or junior hasn't wrestled, so they can't appreciate maybe as much what you have to go through. And I don't know if Triple H wrestled some of these territories where you had to jump in the car and drive 300 or 400 miles each night, or 200 miles, or whatever it was, and then still go to the gym and still have your match, wrestle. And that's talking about every day of the week, Saturdays and Sundays. I know there was a time, 2-year period that I didn't get one day off for 2 years. So, Christmas and everything goes by, kids' birthdays, and, your own birthday or whatever, and you just work right on through. It's like above and beyond the Call of Duty, but it would be nice. It would be nice if they could do something like that. Just,
Uncle Ivan, you brought up the action figures a couple minutes ago. I know there was an independent company, Legends of Wrestling, did a figure review, but did Vince ever do a figure review through WWE?
Jax did. Vince was, but yes, Uncle did have one with the classic superstar pack, Nikita, the 2-pack.
No, I didn't even know Nikita had one.
2-pack. Yeah, I don't know if, I guess it was WWE put that out, if whether it was a self-contracted thing, like to turn it over to somebody else to put it together, like... when you got that toy figure deal, didn't you negotiate with the toy figure company? You didn't negotiate with Vince, right? No, not Vince not directly. What they do is they would probably have another company like Toys R Us or whatever, another company. I don't know. I can't think of the names of the companies now that put the figures together, but they have the company contact us and negotiate with us, and do it that way, and then sell it through their marketing system. But you can't. I guess you can't stop them from doing that. But it's really nice when you get something, and I have gotten some as far as action figures concerned, which was real nice. But as far as I knew, it was just them marketing it, not WWE. Even to this last one, this pack with Nikita and I. But
more or less, yeah. I think that Jax, the company that put them out, and Mattel. I mean, the way that it works is they more or less they pay Vince for the license of the WWE name and all of his character and character likenesses, and that's the way they work.
You're right. That's what was the name of the company, Jax. Yeah.
And so I know the Legends figure that you were talking about, Mark, because they came out with one that was plain Ivan and bloody Ivan.
Yeah, that was the Legends of Wrestling figure. I used to sell those.
Yeah, there was about four different companies, I think, over the years. Besides Jax, there's about 3 others, I think. Maybe one of them did it twice with action figures. I remember the first one was quite a while ago. They did one, and then they did another one. Then they did one with Nikita and I. And I understand there's another one out there now, WWE. But hey, that's why I don't mind them doing that. Just like to, it'd be nice to get a little bit, whether it's up front, pay off to sign it over, or if you get it in the long run. So I believe if Vince does that, he already does it with some guys. So it'd be nice to have a little package put together for some of the guys just maybe not involved today. Maybe that would encourage them to be involved. Like when I tried to call up there to give advice, be open to listen to the stuff, and if it's not good, then just don't use it. To me, it's I think it's good business to take at least listen to opinions of people that been in the business that you're in for 50 years, and just say, hey, like it or lump it, just listen to it, and if you don't like it, just throw it away. They don't even give you the chance.
Well, let me ask you this, Ivan, 'cause I do remember when they did the Best of Madison Square Garden DVD. They did bring you in for, because you were telling stories about your matches with Bruno, and of course they showed one. I mean, how did they put that together? Who contacts you for that? Production out of their company, or does like Vince and his people call you?
No, just the last time I went up there, they invited me to come up 3 years ago when Bruno was inducted in the Hall of Fame in Madison Square Gardens. They had me come up as a guest, my wife and I, and that was the time that they ended up interviewing me and asking me about, they wanted to put this in the history of the Madison Square Gardens or something. Had a little input, but that's all I ever heard about it. Never heard anything about it, So it'd be nice when you do, be part of something like that, you get something back out of it.
They used you for that. I'm sure they compensated you for your time to shoot that nice little footage there for that.
No, all they did with that was they ended up paying me for the trip up there. They just said that off the top, look, we'd like you to come up as your guest. We're going to give you this. Like, we're going to pay your trans up here, pay your airfare up here. And that was it. They didn't say that for that, where you're going to have to do an interview and all this. That was asked after you got up there. But that's all right. I mean, it's just part of it, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, you don't come across as bitter as like some of the other older guys that you may see these shoot interviews with or podcasts or whatever. You don't blame Vince for every problem that you have in your life, like a lot of them did. Now, I got a quick question. How's your daughter doing today with her singing career?
The daughter? Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so proud of her. And the grandbabies. Yeah, she had 2 grandbabies. Youngest was 8, the other one's 12. Big girl. And talented. The kids are talented, too, the grandbabies. Singing, they sing with their mom once in a while in the church. They're out every weekend. Daughter Rachel Marley and husband Philip. They got a good group. Highway Revival is called. If you go to highwayrevival.com, you can hear them singing. And if you get a chance at this area, especially in North Carolina, around the coast here, Virginia and that, South Carolina, out this way, if you want to come to your church to sing, they do it every weekend. Also, go to their site. They got some cassettes, not cassettes, but DVDs. Back a few years in my life here. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of the lifestyle that they're living and what they're doing. It really makes me proud to see my daughter out there doing this, and they're really good. They're really, really good. Not to brag too much, but she obviously got her talent from her mother. Well, I do claim the hair. She had beautiful blonde hair. Because if you go to Highway Revival, so I claim. Well, actually, I go claiming her voice and her hair because I don't have either one of them anymore.
I was going to say, and thank God she took after her mama on the lip side too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but that's good. The kids are really, seem to love it. They're in church every day. Just like to say, the door's open. They keep them in there on the weekend and Wednesday. You can see the difference. They're both straight-A students and doing good. But I would encourage people just go to the website, highwayrevival.com, and if they like gospel music and have at their church or whatever. And, of course, my site is ivankoloff.com. And got my books on there and the DVDs, my documentary and the wrestling. Got one DVD. It's like 22 matches on it in my career.
And anybody who
people can go on there and get my autographed picture, the book or the DVDs, or they contact me if they want me to come to the church. I speak at churches, and the Lord has been very patient and gracious with me through the years, and became a drug addict, alcoholic, and all that. I'm not proud of that fact, but that's where it took me, and found out go towards after when I quit the WCW back there in the early 90s, around 1990, I was a mess. I realized that I had to get off of the drugs and alcohol, and I really tried hard and couldn't do it, and realized from my nephew Nikita, when he called me and said that he knew what I needed in my life was Jesus. And I said, Nicky, what are you talking about? I was raised in church. I know who Jesus is. He says, the devil knows who Jesus is, too. That don't make him a Christian. He got my attention. I said, man, he's right. You know, and he said, no, you got to ask him your free will and realize that he is the Son of God, that he died for our sins, and no sin enters into heaven, and that Jesus had paid the price for our sins, and that was the only way I'd get there. All those years I thought, well, that was too bad. God's not going to, nothing to do with me, drugs and alcohol and hurt people and all this stuff. And I was wrong. The Lord loved me, and ended up, I realized when I went to the church and heard the word, and I asked him to come into my heart, and they turned it around all around for me. It wasn't magical or anything like that. I did what they told me, got into the word, and my faith grew from the word, which is Jesus. The word is Jesus, and ended up making me strong enough to faith. God blessed me to be able to put the chewing tobacco, the marijuana, the alcohol, the cocaine, the pills, and man, really put a big change in my life. And now I can enjoy life and appreciate the fact that I got a good wife, and
yes. She's an amazing woman. Faye is an awesome woman.
And I'm proud of it. And I'd recommend it for anyone if they're not content in their life to turn it over to the Lord and work with that, because God is good and he loves us. So.
I'll tell you, if I can give a personal recommendation on your book, I read it actually a couple different times. Very, very well written, and Renee even has a section in there too, if I'm not mistaken, where she gives talks a little bit in there too. And it's an amazing book. It's a very good read. It's very easy. It's an easy read. So, I mean, you know, if you're a young guy who's just getting into the business and you want to read about Ivan's career, it's a great way to start. If you been in the business and you want to read about Ivan, it's a great great book to have. And I know obviously IvanKoloff.com. He will autograph your book too, and you never know. He's doing all these shows now. You may be able to catch him at a show and he can autograph something for you too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed going out and making appearances too. I appreciate you mentioning it, JR, because it's something that I guess once it gets in your blood, you can't get it out. You got to keep going at it.
I think that.
The wrestling reminds
me that you and Mark would all agree. I mean, once that bug bites you and you get in that business, it never leaves. And no matter how hard you try to shake it, it just doesn't leave.
It reminds me. I'm reminded by a lyric of the old song Hotel California when it comes to me trying to step away from wrestling. Is you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Yeah,
that's right, exactly. Yeah, it's still in your mind, you still enjoy it, but I don't think that's the way the fans are too. You gets in your blood a bit and you enjoy doing it. But I guess I'll one day grow up, and I'm not in a hurry because I got a bad habit of eating. So makes it good that God's got a way of just leading us along, and if you're obedient to it, it works it all out. Yeah. So today I'm really happy about the way things are going. And I think Vince will get soften up one day and forgive me for being such a mean guy, and maybe have me inducted in that Hall of Fame up here.
I'll tell you, I was telling Mark, I said I went from as a kid going to the Norfolk Scope and standing in the seat and booing you and hoping you would die, give Magnum TA, to actually wrestling one of your chain matches, which is probably one of my all-time favorites I've ever done. Quite an honor, by the way. To me, it's an amazing feeling as a fan, as somebody who grew up as a fan, and and it's I can't describe it, So thank you, Ivan. I guess is what I want to say to you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, well, I've enjoyed talking to you guys, and I appreciate the plugs in. Looking forward to going out next week to San Jose, California, to do some autographs at WrestleCon and that, and maybe seeing you guys down the road here. I'm sure of that in
yes,
the future.
Sir.
One of these matches and that, both the JR and Mark. That'd be a treat for sure. Yeah, and oh man, just look forward to that. That's what's so great about this wrestling. You're retired type thing. Now you don't have to go out there and convince them that you're going to beat somebody up or be mean to the fans. I can even shake their hands and sign their autographs. So I look forward to doing that to each and every one of them, and just don't be afraid to come up to me and speak. You'll find that I've been civilized for a little while now. My wife has beat me up enough. I haven't done the honeydew list just right, so she had to put me in my place a few times. Now I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. That's what I like to tell people. I like to tell people when they talk to me about wrestling. I said, I'm not a tough guy. I just played one on TV.
There you go.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, if we're wrestling very long, we end up being pretty tougher. You don't exist, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Get away. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here.
So I was going to tell you one more time, Ivan Koloff tag team tournament coming up in Clayton, North Carolina at the Clayton Fitness Center or whatever.
Clayton Fitness on Saturday, April the 4th. And Ivan Koloff, Kevin Sullivan, Buff Bagwell, Ming, the Barbarian, Gunner.
Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas, that's who I was forgetting. It's going to be a great card at Clayton Fitness on Saturday, April the 4th.
Okay, let me mention, too, if I could, guys, Friendly Box Breaks. He's a good friend of mine, Joey. If you ever have a chance to listen to his podcast, too, at nights, he sells sports memorabilia. I can't even say it. That's an English word. Yeah,
memorabilia.
Football to boxing to hockey. I mean, all of the sports. So you might be, but check him out too. FriendlyBoxBreaks.com. Yeah, and
all right.
Of course, visit Ivan Koloff. Thank you so much, Mark, JR. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Had me on here tonight.
All right.
Thank you for being on, Ivan. And we got to wrap it up because I'm really running out of time now. But tune in next week. Q-Ball Carmichael and Bob Cook.
God bless.
All right. Good night. God bless, Ivan. I'll call you in a day or two. All right.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.